In this video, I talk about what R.E.B.T is and how it can affect your life and well-being. Do you want to know what R.E.B.T is and how it can affect your life and well-being? Hi, I'm Carl Dunn, CEO of Mindset Mind. I'm an R.E.B.T and CBT certified practitioner. I love to help people find a more rational mindset and perception. Okay, let's get into it. R.E.B.T, Rational Emotive Behavioural Therapy, and CBT, Cognitive Behavioural Therapy, are like a human mind's owner's manual. The lessons learnt in this video will help you identify the 3 core irrational beliefs at the root of everyone's suffering, so you can stop trying to control the outside world and other people, and instead take back your inner power by concentrating on you, your thoughts and your emotions, so you can stop limiting yourself and going for what you really want in your life. We are all blessed with the most powerful machine in existence, our minds, but we have never taught how to use it. With this information, that all changes. Stay with me and let's get into it. All people face challenges and roadblocks in life. However, it is the internal obstacles such as our limiting beliefs, negative thinking and harmful emotional patterns that hold you back. Here you will learn best practices and powerful principles of modern positive psychology, so you can help you understand the way your mind and emotions work and how to take back control of your life. People are not disturbed by things, but rather by their view of things. Albert Ellis. There are 2 key reasons that it is so important to learn how to use the power of your mind. The first reason is that you want to feel good. You need to understand R.E.B.T and learn how to use your mind. No matter what your goal is or what you are trying to do, the true reason you are doing it is that you are seeking to experience some type of positive emotion. You want to feel happy, or at least you want to stop feeling terrible. This is the motivating force behind everything you do. R.E.B.T teaches you how to feel more healthy, positive emotions. The second reason is that after you got beyond the child phase of life, where much of your life was outside of your control, once you had entered adulthood, the truth is that you were responsible for many, if not most, of the cards you were dealt. R.E.B.T teaches how to take control of our experience of life. So what exactly is R.E.B.T? Well, it's a process for changing thoughts, beliefs, emotions and behaviours. R stands for rational. It tells us the truth that most of the time human thinking is pretty irrational. The good news is that we think more rationally. Our lives are better. E stands for emotive, and it tells us that our emotions are affected by what happens, but not directly by what happens. It is our irrational thinking about what happens that causes our negative emotions. B stands for behavioural. It tells us that most of the time we act based on how we feel, and as we just said, how we feel depends on what we think about what is happening around us. T stands for therapy, or in this case it stands for teaching or training or techniques. It refers to the fact that this is a process that can be learnt. This will teach the techniques and tools for taking back control of your life by learning how to direct your thoughts, emotions and behaviours. Not only does it serve as a manual for how to use the full power of your mind, it will also provide evidence that yes, you can direct your own destiny, you can change your life, you can change how you feel, you can change your circumstances by choosing different thoughts to change your behaviours. Why we think, feel and act the way we do. As we've established, R.E.B.T. is based on the premise that our thoughts create our emotions and influence our behaviour. The three aspects, thoughts, emotions, behaviours, interplay and influence each other. However, the area where we have the most power is our thoughts, because they are almost always the foundation of our emotions and the behaviours we take because of them. The good news, which is why R.E.B.T. is so powerful, is that because we can learn to have greater control over our thoughts, we can have greater control over our emotions and our behaviours. At every moment, our brains are processing our experience, taking in information through the five senses. When you experience everything in life, it is interpreted by your brain, which means in a split second your brain compares what it is taking in through your senses, which tells it what is going on in your experience, to everything else you've ever experienced. It's trying to make a snap judgment of what is going on, what does it mean, how should I feel about it, what should I do. The brain has evolved to rapidly interpret everything you experience, and it's so good at it that you don't even notice it's happening. That is, until something happens that causes your mind to interpret a situation as negative. It chooses a perspective or a belief about the situation that creates an emotional reaction in your body. It's unpleasant, so it's noticeable. Your body reacts to this emotion, which is actually caused by the thought triggering your body to release any of a number of the brain chemicals, often referred to as neurotransmitters or endorphins or hormones. Your brain is like a chemical factory, and there is a different neurotransmitter that is responsible for every emotion you can feel. It's all functioning as it should. Something threatens you. Your brain interprets, triggers the hormones that shoot throughout your body, inspiring you spring into action. Everyone tells you they adore you, and you're flooded with feel-good chemicals. Our bodies and brains are amazing machines, but sometimes these emotional reactions get out of whack with what's actually happening. You can feel anxious for no reason. Something small makes you furious. You're sad even when you're doing something that usually makes you happy. What's happened is that your mind has learned a pattern of thinking that is faulty. Your brain is interpreting situations negatively when you're not. Your brain is judging situations or yourself. You have unconscious, irrational beliefs impacting your perspective that you aren't even aware of. Your brain was doing what it was best at doing, trying to interpret your world in a way that protects you. Unfortunately, as you lived and learnt through your life, your brain got programmed by the world around you. Your thoughts were influenced by the actions of others. Your core beliefs were adopted by the beliefs of others. And because you weren't aware of all of this, your mind became trapped by its own faulty beliefs. Your thoughts ran amok, and you were never thought or taught you could catch them. It happens to everyone. Human bodies and brains don't come with an owner's manual, but the good news is that the situation is simple. You can become more aware of this process. You can change your thoughts, patterns, and beliefs. You can reprogram yourself. You can become conscious of your unconscious thoughts and behaviours. You can choose to experience more positive emotions and less negative ones. You have the power to control your own mind, a power that has been withheld from you your entire life. Hundreds of years ago, doctors of the time were smart enough to recognize that the mental health problems people were having stemmed from the brain. But that's in another story, as it's time to take your power back. Let's look at emotions. The best place to start a discussion about how thinking works and impacts your life is to look at emotions. I'd like to ask you a question. Do you think emotions should be trusted or can be trusted? Some people say you should trust always your emotions. Other people say feelings are irrational and can't be trusted. So which is it? They're both wrong. Emotions and feelings are never right or wrong, accurate or not. Emotions are simply your body's reactions to what you are thinking chemically. Your belief system and other unconscious thoughts are happening on autopilot all the time and cause emotions. That's why sometimes you have no idea why you feel the way you do. So here's an example of why emotions are neither either right or wrong, because they're just reacting to your thoughts. Think about something that you really wish you had, but that you don't have. You may feel unhappy because you don't have it, but that's not true. You are unhappy because of the thought of not having it. Let me prove it to you. Have you ever been happy while not having this thing you want? Yes or no? If you didn't have it, but you didn't care that you didn't have it, could you be unhappy? Yes or no? If you didn't have it, but you were doing something else that kept you from thinking about it, such as driving or going down a roller coaster, would you be unhappy about it? No, I don't think so. Not having what you want doesn't make you feel bad. Thinking about it does. Where do emotions come from? Sometimes our unconscious mind and senses are picking up cues from our environment that trigger emotions, such as reading a person's body language or facial expression and having an automatic psychological response, or sensing danger and having an automatic fear response. However, most of the time it is not the outside world or the situation that is happening that causes our emotional reaction. It's what we're thinking. It is the mental filter that the situation passes through, aka our interpretation, that then causes our emotional reaction to the situation. Situation, interpretation, thought, and emotion. The key to understand here is that research over decades on R.E.B.T. and C.B.T. provides evidence that we can have control over our thoughts. And if we have control over our thoughts, we can control our emotions. It may be challenging to do this, but it is a skill that can be learned. Here's the process. We go through the thoughts, which causes our feelings, and about ourselves, our world, and others around us. And it causes behaviours, which show other people, how we feel and what we're doing and why we're doing it. Again, they cause thoughts, which, they can go the other way as well. And it all comes from this triangle, the core belief. Recognize emotions, identify thoughts, change emotions. Changing the thought. Once you notice that a thought is happening, it becomes conscious. Since you're aware of it, you can then choose to change it. Your mind automatically interprets the situation, but now that you're paying attention to it, you can choose a different interpretation, a different perspective. This is great news, because when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Even in the same situation or with the same facts, if you change your viewpoint, your experience of the situation will change. Here's an example. A man was visiting a friend's house and went into his kitchen to make a cup of tea, but he didn't find a tea kettle, so poured water into a glass cafeteria and placed it on a gas stove. He returned to the living room and minutes later smelled something burning. he returned and found that the handle of the carriage had caught fire. He quickly put the fire out. He apologized to his friends profusely and was feeling both embarrassed and guilty. His friends, however, were laughing and complimented him on his fireman's skills. Same situation, different perspective. And the result was completely different emotional responses. Why does this matter? So this matters because, of course, you want to feel better. If you change your perspective of the situation, you will change your emotional reaction to it. But it's even better than that. You see, your emotions are the driving force for your behaviours, because the decisions you make are based on how you feel. As you get better at being aware of your emotions and thinking, you'll be able to make decisions from a place of control. You might feel a certain way, but you'll use your cognitive processes to choose to act from a place of rational thought. And if you're like most people, you're not at that place yet. At least not all the time. So here's where we are now. Thoughts, emotion, decisions, action, behaviours. The behaviours you exhibit and the actions you take are a direct result of your thoughts. So if you're experiencing behaviours you don't like or have been doing things you aren't pleased with, your thoughts are to blame. If you can't just see the behaviours or actions you're doing that aren't serving you, look around at your life at the results you're experiencing. Have you been having any problems at work or in your relationships? Have you experienced anything unpleasant? Are there things you want that you don't have? On the positive side, what aspects of your life have you managed to create that you want, that you enjoy, and that you love? The reason I ask is because I'm going to take this cause and effect train one more step. This is thoughts, emotions, decisions, behaviours, and your outcomes. It starts with our thoughts and beliefs about a situation and our cognitive behaviours and the way our mind works, which causes an emotion, causing the feelings that respond in the body and make you either have the fight or flight attitude, which could cause you to run away or could cause you to stay. It's what you was thinking in the first place about how this comes together. That's right. Your behaviours and actions are what determine the results and outcomes you experience in your life, both the wanted ones and the unwanted ones. By changing your thoughts, you can literally transform your life. Literally. So let's dive into it more about understanding how thinking works. We all think irrationally. Yes, even you. It's really easy to notice when someone else is thinking irrationally. What they say sounds illogical. It makes no sense. Even if you try to point out their error in thinking, they don't get it. They seem locked in their point of view, like they're blind to the truth. It can be frustrating, but the truth is that the same thing happens to you. Sometimes we all become blind and to the logic. Why? Because of the way our minds work. Our brain's number one goal at all time is to keep you safe, and so it focuses on evaluating what is happening right now and predicting what is going to happen in our future. And while it is interpreting your world, it is very easy to misperceive or misunderstand situations that are happening around you or things people say to you. There are a variety of reasons for this. First, at all times you are receiving limited information. One reason for this is that, literally, we may just not know all of the facts. If you hear a loud bang outside, you cannot see what is happening, and so may assume it's a gunshot when it's simply a car door shutting. Your friend may sound irritated, and so you assume they're mad at you. But the truth is that you don't know what happened to them earlier in the day that may have upset them. The other reason you are receiving limited information is because your brain is blocking out most of the information happening around you. The reason for this is because there are millions of bits of information going on around you all the time that can be picked up by your senses. However, if you were consciously aware of all of them, you'd go crazy and die. For this reason, your brain has a focusing mechanism called the reticular activating system that narrows down these millions of bits into 2,000 that are relevant to you. So depending on whatever you're focusing on at the time, your brain picks up on data relevant to that topic. If you're at the airport and you're talking to your sister about her baby on the phone, you notice all the babies as you walk through the terminal. If you are dressed in a suit and heading to an important meeting or an interview, and you'll notice all the other people dressed up who look like they're heading to an important meeting too. But your brain literally blocks out almost everything. Next, whatever information your brain does have access to gets filtered through what is already in your brain. For instance, your brain takes this input and compares it to your benefits to determine what you think about this information. It also searches through your memories to see what has happened in your past that in any way relates to this information, so it knows what it is. For instance, when a baby sees a four-legged creature that's hairy, and his parents call it a dog, the next time the baby sees a four-legged hairy creature, he calls it a dog. But this time it's a cat. He doesn't know this because the only belief he had was that four-legged hairy things are called dogs. Now imagine the baby has been bit by the dog. Now, the next time it sees a four-legged creature, the baby's brain is going to quickly evaluate this creature's against the baby's belief system and memories of the past experiences of being bit, which of course will lead the baby to conclude this creature is a dog and dogs are something to be afraid of. The baby reacts to the dog with fear. The problem is that it's not a dog, it's an adorable cat. The baby's thinking is irrational. But the truth is, it is not that the baby is irrational, because based on what he knows, it's actually quite smart to fear the cat. This same exact process is happening to all adults too, all of the time in a split second. Irrational thinking happens because we have limited information about what is happening, and we interpret it through our biased beliefs and memories of our experiences, which are limited. Not to mention memories are very often not accurate. It's important to recognize that thinking irrationally does not mean we're doing anything wrong, just like the example of the baby. The truth is that our irrational thoughts actually make sense based on our limited understandings. The problem with irrational thinking is when it becomes problematic and negatively impacts our lives. So when we talk about irrational thinking, we are specifically referring to situations where this thinking limits or blocks a person from being able to function in life and achieve their goals, causes extreme irrational emotions that lead a person to behaviours that harm themselves, others, and their opportunities in life. Distorts reality, meaning that the thoughts are ignoring reality or facts in a way that is hindering a person's ability to make rational decisions, or understand what is happening, in a way that has negative consequences, causes the person to judge and evaluate other people, themselves, or the world in a way that is harmful. As you can see, irrational thoughts are self-defeating and negatively impact our lives. The focus of R.E.B.T. is to help the client to understand the connection between their irrational beliefs and their present problem. The counsellor or therapist aims to expose the irrational and self-destructive beliefs and to challenge their value to the client. For example, if a client thinks that they need the approval of everyone around them, then the R.E.B.T. therapist will identify this belief and dispute the client's reasons for holding this belief. Once exposed, the therapist and client can then work towards identifying more appropriate and rational beliefs. For these beliefs, it is hoped that new feelings and thoughts will arise for the client. This process is known as the A.B.C.D.E.F theory of personality, where A, the activating event or stimulus, paired with the B, belief about the activating event, causes a C, the consequence, the emotional and behavioural response. D is the disputing intervention that is introduced to change the B, belief, after which a new E, effect, more appropriate, a new belief, becomes associated with the original A, activating event. F, lastly, forward progress, that ignites new feelings which are associated with the new beliefs about ourselves through homework, coursework, and, work papers and worksheets, the representation, and also journaling and things like that. The methods involved in R.E.B.T. include disputing irrational beliefs in a systematic and logical way, changing one's language from shoulds, oughts and musts to preferences, using humour to reduce the exaggerated effects of irrational thoughts and beliefs, doing cognitive homework to identify absolutistic beliefs behind your problems. This can include assignments to observe your self-fulfilling prophecies, reading self-help books, and using subliminals, listening to tapes of earlier counselling sessions you've had to critique your original self-defeating beliefs, using modelling and role-playing in the session to encourage the client's use of more rational thoughts and beliefs. Thank you for reading and watching this video. Take back your inner power with R.E.B.T. I really hope you enjoyed it and will take action on the advice given in this article. I wish you good luck on your journey. I hope its contents have been a good help to you so this year can be your best year for achieving your goals and ambitions. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Carl signing off until the next video. Thank you for staying till the end. Take care and look after yourselves. Don't forget, if you like the video, leave a like and a subscribe so you can get the future videos I'll be making. Thank you.